Hear us yet? We are live.
Okay.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to year 18 of Here on Monday Night America. I'm sorry, the echo is atrocious. So I am so sorry, but hey, what else do you expect from NDB Media? Monday Night America, today's our birthday. Of course, I'm your host, Roger Noriega, and a special guest today, my classmate of many years. Well, actually, no. He's my brother of many years, classmate for 3 years. How you doing, Mooch?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy birthday. Happy 18th birthday.
We are legal and can drive now. We have to wait 3 more years before we get to buy liquor.
There you go. There you go. That's all right.
Is it legal in a few states, maybe?
I think in Louisiana, if you're 18 years or older, you can still drink, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's go over to Louisiana. But until then, it's all good. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, Mooch, but
No problem.
welcome to the world of the internet.
This has been about 3 years in coming. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm here, and I'm at your utmost whim. Go ahead. Shoot.
This is your first time.
First
there will
time.
be others.
First time.
Wow. Excellent, young man. Well, I'm glad again. Folks, I was expecting to have Mooch on with me on our sports program because we were not only classmates for 3 years, but we were teammates for 3 years. But he was a starter, and you know how they say I was like left bench or right bench? No, I used to help out the guys on the bench.
That's correct. That's correct. That's correct.
There it is. You see, I told you, I promised you. When I bring Peter on, my lies have to come to an end. I do want to welcome everyone who's watching this. And again, I do apologize for the feedback. It was a last minute decision. And you know me, unprepared. But I will be for next time. So I'm going to have to get a system where actually I do have the mic here. And I would have to turn off the Yeti and activate his headset over there so it would work. And who knows, maybe as early as next week or even tomorrow. What do I know?
Very good.
But I don't know if Peter wants to go ahead and introduce himself.
Well,
be careful what you say because it's on the internet forever.
That's right. That's right. I would first begin by saying I really, really, really appreciate this moment. This is a long time in coming. Very utmost, I would say, Roger does not know how much we appreciated him while we were playing baseball in the seminary. He was our go-to for scores, stats, everything. And there were times when you'd be playing baseball. I started as a designated hitter as a freshman, and I was a disaster. I was a nervous wreck, and I was still hitting well, but Roger may not know this, but I'm going to tell him now. I can't express how much I appreciate all those days and nights that he worked with me to support me and make me a much, much better ball player than I started with. And when I was a senior, I take that to the end. I always look to Roger as somebody who really motivated the team. He was 1,000% motivating our team. I can say that on behalf of the rest of the team, that we were all greatly appreciative of Roger Noriega. He was our go-to when we were just down and we were playing big teams that were out of our league. He would really, really support us and wake us up and get us stirred. And we put our rally caps on. And a lot of those times we beat teams like these teams we beat in, I'll never forget it, out in some weird town out by Lone Pine, and then another team out in, I forget the area where we were at. It was up Kern Valley. And we took teams that were, much, much bigger than us. And we had to leave right away because we weren't expected to beat them. And we took a specific team out of their league and out of the playoffs. And they thought we were just going to be a practice team. Little we know is Coach Cody would tell us, get on the bus, get the hell out of town, and let's get out of here because we're not welcomed here anymore. We just, we would pull off games that we weren't supposed to pull off. So I think Roger Noriega was a big part of that. Big part of that. He was like our third coach. So I can speak on behalf of the rest of the team that we really, really appreciate. I never forgot it right now. Thank you, Roger. I have to express that to whoever's out there to listen to it. I really, really appreciate it very much.
Well, I am humbled. No doubt about that. And it was a thrill. You guys all know my stories. I was the bit player, the extra part. Whenever I got a chance to play, it was great for me. And he was one of the starters. I will never forget his freshman year when he hit his first home run. Like at yesterday's game, I was the loudest cheerleader.
Yes.
As he was running between first and second, he yelled across the diamond. He said, "That was for you." I was like,
That's
wow.
right. That's right.
I'm still writing that home run. It hasn't landed yet.
Yes. Well, it had to be far enough so that I could get to home plate because my nickname was Diesel. So it would take me about maybe twice as long as some of the other players to get round the bases. But it was, I'll never forget that in my life. It was something I'll always treasure and something I'll always remember. It's, one of those great plays that you remember in your history. It's just there with you forever.
Hopefully it is not as bad as I think it is, where the sound is being picked up, because I do hear an echo. That's why I took the headset off. So we're going to try that. If anyone is watching, which I know you are, if you want to let us know, hopefully we can make this work properly. And maybe I'm going to have to walk over to Peter's station right now. I'm thinking that when I'm speaking, if he mutes his mic, the feedback will go away like I was doing when he was speaking. So let us know if you're getting a little bit of feedback, but I do thank you no matter what. But hey, Peter, since you're here and it is our 18-year celebration, would you tell us about the time that you guys had to go north and it was in your senior year? Would you tell us about that one where you guys beat that big team and you guys had a high tail? I was already gone because when I was a senior, he was a junior. So that's the relationship that we had. I was only there for 3 years. And, wow. Anyway, you get it. Why don't you regale that story, please?
That was out in Kern County. That was 1988. Our coach, Coach Cody, was always somebody who said any team can beat any other team on any given day. And I remember consistently for the 4 years that I played for him, we were sometimes frustrated because we were listed as a small school, and we would go and play 1A, 2A teams, teams way out of our league. We played teams like Roland Heights, Webb, Chadwick, Hart. We would play out in La Cañada Flint Ridge Prep. These were teams that were just huge, and they were big proponents for us. But he said the only way you were going to really learn to play baseball is challenging yourself. And we ended up playing a team out in Kern County. I believe the name of the team was it Paraclete? Or I don't recall the name of the team.
Paraclete was in Palmdale.
Paraclete was in Palmdale. I'm trying to remember the team that was out there in Kern County, but they were undefeated. They were doing us a favor, taking us on as a practice team because they were going for the CIF playoffs, and they had agreed to have this little team from the seminary out in Mission Hills, San Fernando, come and give them some practice. And we drove in 2 vans. It took us about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get there. And it was like going to Dodger Stadium. These teams were huge. They were both parents were there. They had their cars parked in the outfield so that every time they hit a home run, their lights would flash. Grass was impeccable. Chalk was done. Everything was clean. The pitcher, if he wasn't 10 feet tall, I thought he was 10 feet tall. The catcher was like a gorilla. He was just in a position that I don't know how he squatted there and not squatted on his legs, but just a humongous individual. And they practiced phantom ball to mentally take us out of the game. I don't know if anybody knows what phantom ball is. Well, when they practice, go round the horn and throw the ball around, there's no ball. They just fake it so that you really can't determine which players are bad, which players are good. Does their catcher throw to second for real? You don't know. And we, not to say we were trembling, but we were trembling. And I just remember that for some reason, Coach Cody would look at us and say, this is what it's all about right here. This is what it's all about. This is a game you're going to remember. He was just one of these individuals, like an old school coach that would smoke cigars and chew the Indian tobacco hanging out of his mouth. And he would say, and we would tell him, Coach, we're outwitted here. Before we even start, he'd go, I couldn't care less. And I'm just being polite about the language he used, because you can only imagine what he would say to us. He would just say, get your butts out there, but he'd use different language. Kind of similar to Tommy Lasorda. He reminded me of Tommy Lasorda in his prime at a World Series game. And we got out there, and next thing you know, we hit for the round. We started doing really, really well. I think that day Victor Soleil was pitching, and I forget the name of the other individual that was pitching, but we ended up beating that team, if I remember correctly, like 6-3. And all I know is at the end of the 7 innings, we were told by Coach, let's get the hell out of here. He had no speech. He said, let's get to the vans. And we were like, why? Why do we have to? And he goes, let's just get the hell out of here. I'll tell you later. And we had, I guess, knocked them out of the CIF playoffs because for some reason he got them to agree to play us as one of the games that counted. We didn't know. He didn't tell us. So there we are. We won the game, came back. Parents were ecstatic 2.5 hours later. And it's a game that I'll never forget in my entire life. Never, ever.
I remember first hearing that story from Bernardo. Of course, he was your classmate as well. And he told me that story when I'd seen him probably a year or 2 years after that. And I always heard his story that he said, Coach said, let's go. You got to go.
Yep. We had great players on that team. We had fantastic players.
Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, I want to give a quick shout out to Bob Dotson. Thank you, Bob. Hope you're doing well, Bob. Elizabeth Olivia Cooper as well. Thank you. Folks, we're just reminiscing. Today is we're kicking off our 18th year. We're reminiscing, of course. Peter went, as I said, he was a classmate of mine. And we're just telling some old stories. And it's really, really cool. But thanks for stopping in. I know we are having that echo issue, and I do apologize. Hopefully we're able to get around it, though. But if you have any questions for us or any comments, please fire them off. Today is September 29th, 2025. And just remember, there's a lot of stuff going on in the network. Head on over to ndbmedia.net where you can catch up. Elizabeth, who's in the chat room, she has a program every other Sunday, The Troublesome Twosome. And she is a big part of the network. So we're really happy that you're in with us right now. I'm trying to upload some images of this school that I'm talking about, Our Lady Queen of the Angels Seminary in Mission Hills. I believe that was the actual address, but we were in San Fernando. We're right next to San Fernando Mission.
Yes.
But anyway, who was our biggest opponent in the 3 years? Because I remember we faced Chadwick. And for those of you that know, Chadwick is in Palos Verdes. We were a bunch of poor kids from the valley, but we would go to Chadwick where the Hollywood money was. Or no, just the money.
I just remember the kids all had Porsches and Mercedes.
These are high school kids.
High school kids that you would see the Porsches and Mercedes lined up, and we were like coming out of this little small school bus, like a bunch of mental patients. And they didn't know what they were going to be involved in until we started playing. I mean, that's the best thing to say. That's the one thing that Coach Cody really got us to do was that I now that I'm older, I'll never forget it. He really taught us the game of baseball to a point where you became fearless against other opponents out there that were much, much better teams numbers-wise. But then all of a sudden, there would be times when we beat them, and they would be stunned. There was a time when we beat Hart at home, and you couldn't hear any of the fans. We left that team and locked me out of Flint Ridge Prep. We were just mentally prepared for them, and I remember we had a home run rally with them because they had what was called the big green wall, similar to the Boston Red Sox. They had a big blue wall. I'm sure you remember that, Roger. Where
field, yes.
And once you got the feeling for how far away it was just how many home runs you're going to hit that day. So, which brings to mind something else I have to say. And I want this to be on the air. I want this to be on the internet forever because I may not get this opportunity ever again. I want everybody to know out there that there was a better ball player than me out there. That would be my brother, Merced. Merced was a much more well-rounded player, very, very similar. He reminds me a lot of Kiki Hernandez. Somebody you could call out in a minute and wasn't afraid of any position you tell him, any opponent you tell him, any at-bat you tell him. Very, 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 very well-rounded baseball individual. So, and I kind of got that feeling when my little brother Ryan, who also played, he didn't get to fully develop with the seminary because I think he only got to go to the seminary for the first 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. When he went to go try out, with Coach Cody, and Coach Cody had said, "You're Peter and Merced's brother. You got a big effing problem. You have some big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill." And I remember my little baby brother Ryan felt very intimidated, but I say it right here that my brother Merced was fantastic. He was a fantastic ball player. Very, very good. Very, very good.
It is my goal to have all three of them on and we can talk sports. Now,
We're
I want to
try.
show you La Cuneta Flintridge Prep. We're going to go to an image on Google to tell you what it was like. Obviously, the field has changed a little bit, but this is what Peter is talking about. There was this fence, this book. It's green, and behind it you've got the Tournament of Roses, something that they have there. But it was a very high fence. It was right here, out, and it looked like it was enclosed. And it's been green, it's been blue, whatever. But this is the part, and I was seated somewhere because there used to be the dugouts here. I was seated somewhere here on that famous day when Anthony Calvano, our classmate, was catching, and there was a big hulky guy batting, and he fell off the pitch, bam, nailed Tony right there in the cojones. Oh boy, broke his cup. And I probably haven't told the story in a while now, but he broke his cup, and he stayed down. But he wanted to stay in the game, and the ump was like, "No way, you can't." Like, dude, you got hammered right there. And this happened in about 30, 40 seconds. Tony sat back down, and they threw another pitch, and he was okay. Coach Cody, our same coach, yelled to the end of the dugout, says, "Noriega, I need your cup." There were 20 of us on the team. Yep. 19 were going to play. One of them was not, and that was me. So it was in this part. So right here where you see the little stain, that could be me. And I immediately gave up my cup because, my God, this guy got hit in the nuts, basically. All right, just flat out got hit. And then he's going to stay in the game. La Cuneta Flintridge was in awe. We were in awe. It was unbelievable. So this hulky guy comes up again, and the very next hit, I kid you not, I can't make this up. Even Hollywood can't make this up. Same big guy, next hit, fouled it off, bam.
That's correct.
Nailed it again. And guess what? Broke it. Needless to say, Tony did not stay in the game.
No, he did not.
I don't know who won the game. Did you?
I think
Dreamy? No, we were sophomores. You were freshmen.
Yeah, I was just a DH in the freshman year. I do remember that happening, and I just remember Tony Calvano getting off the bus and walking on his tippy toes and just trying to be as quiet as possible. He could have sang soprano for some girls' rock band at that point for a few days. I do remember that,
Long before the Sopranos, he was a soprano.
Oh, yes.
One of the privileges I had, not only of meeting someone who I consider family, my brother, even though he is not, he is a brother from another mother, both figuratively and literally.
Very true.
But he was my classmate in the seminary. We both went. And it is a relationship that I hold dear, and we did not see each other for over 35 years.
That's correct. Yes.
And he found me on LinkedIn.
That's correct. Yes.
And he'd been listening in for a while. He didn't tell me this.
Yes.
And then he finally started commenting, and I remember the first time when he showed up, I said, "Oh man, I can't lie anymore."
It wasn't to correct you. It was I just couldn't hold back anymore. I was reminiscing on the past, and I just happened to run across your podcast, several podcasts, I should say, because the one I really enjoy very, very much is on Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. with the guys. I really, really like that show. I don't comment as much as I should. I'm a Dodger fan. Roger's a New York Yankee fan. So our opinions of baseball are a little different. And We've had these discussions in private, and Roger knows how I feel about the Dodgers. I know how he feels about the Yankees. And in top secret, my wife is an Angel fan, so he goes to the Angel games, and he just started me this year, I have to say, which I'm going to look forward to next year, going to the Sixers, the 66ers, and then maybe a Quake game or two, and these new, what do they call the team now in Ontario? What was that disaster that they call them?
The Tower Buzzers.
Okay. Tower Buzzers. Okay. All right. I just really enjoyed the minor league game that I went to, and it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun being with Big Dog and everybody else, and just having a great time. And I really, really look forward to the next. I know we're at the end of the baseball season, starting the playoff season, but I can't wait till next year. I really can't.
I'm looking forward to it. I know that we're going to catch some Dodger games. Realistically, we are starting next year. But folks, you guys know why I go see the Angels. I'm sorry. It's just an incredible deal. They are reaching out to their fans, and they're making it easy to go to games. But you know what? Next year, we will be going, Peter, Big Dog, my daughter, and a few others, and we're going to be going to both stadiums, and we're going to be comparing them, and we're going to be talking about our stuff. But since I have Peter on right now, I want to go to the 2025 postseason and maybe take a quick look at it right now. I'm not going to force my brother any decisions, but this is the setup now. This is the postseason picture. It's done. As you see, the American League is on the left and the American League is on the right. Are you able to see that clearly on screen?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. So the number one spot is Toronto with Seattle, okay, based on how they finished. In the National League, the number one spot is the Brewers, and in the Phillies. And I believe they also finished in 1 and 2 overall. And the Blue Jays and the Yankees were tied for third as best teams records-wise. But the reason why we don't have the one-game playoff is, as I mentioned on Saturday, Major League Baseball's gotten rid of that. They have the tiebreakers based on head-to-head against the division, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it was clear that the Blue Jays had the advantage over the Yankees. Even though they finished with the exact same record, the Blue Jays won the division. Hands down, flat out. They had the better record against the Yankees. Ya estuvo. There's no argument. So, looking at that, let's take a look at the picture in the American League, in the National League. Cubs versus the Padres. And I know I'm ambushing my brother on this one.
Not at all.
But maybe he has some thoughts about this right now.
I got plenty of thoughts.
San Diego, Chicago. Talk to me, brother. If you want to prognosticate, go for it.
I think it's San Diego Padres game to lose. I think it's their series to lose. They've got some really profound games behind them. They've had a fantastic season. Chicago, they've worked really, really hard to get there. But I think it's going to be San Diego going to the next step. It's going to be a really, really tough series with the Milwaukee and San Diego Padres. It really, really will. I don't see the Cubs doing that well with the Padres. If it was pitching against pitching, I think that's what's going to win that series. It's going to be the Padres, and they're going to go against Milwaukee again. It's the Padres. It's the Padres' ability to beat themselves. They have a lot going in. They know what they got to do. They've been there several times in the past. So Padres, I see the Padres beating the Cubs. I really do.
There's very little I can argue with that. The only thing that I would add is the starting staff of the Padres is a lot stronger. The back end, I think the middle of the relief of the Padres may have some issues right there. I'm not going to go position by position because we're not prepared. I mean, we probably could, but no. It's a shorter program today. But position by position, I may do something early tomorrow. I don't know, where I will go over it, but be that as it may. The Padres, I think their middle reliever core is maybe their weakness. But all in all, the end of the bullpen, Padres, they should do it over the Cubs. Everything Mooch said, 100% right on. I just added to that.
Yep.
Let's go to the other game in the National League, and that would be the number 3 seed Dodgers versus the number 6 seed Reds. Now, maybe I'll go first on this one, and it's really obvious. The Reds surprised everyone. They actually have a good team, all in all, but they're not as strong as the Padres or even the Dodgers. You know, I have a bromance, a man crush on their shortstop. That kid, I forget his name right now. Ellie. Oh, I forget his name. But you guys know what I'm talking about. That guy led them. But it's a good, solid Reds team. Duh. They made the playoffs. People don't back into I take that back. Sometimes they do back into the playoffs. But this is a good team. All in all, the Dodgers, if healthy, nothing against the Reds. If Dodgers are healthy, we're wasting time talking about the series. But the Reds can play with the Dodgers. The Dodgers have a weakness in their bullpen, significant. And who's going to pitch?
Yes.
For the Dodgers. If the Dodgers are healthy, I think they're going all the way to the World Series. But my opinion means nothing because the games still have to be played. The Dodgers do have weaknesses this year, significant weaknesses. They aren't as strong as they were, and I'm talking the entire diamond. Their left fielder did not have the year that he had last year. I mean, he was all world last year. This year, he's just a good outfielder. I forget his name. He was the free agent they signed last year. Again, this isn't a bash against the Dodgers. They're a good team, but they have weaknesses this year. Can the Reds exploit them? Sure. But on any given Sunday, the Dodgers are the superior team over the Reds. But again, what does it matter? The games still have to be played. Your thoughts on that?
Real easy. The Dodgers have no business being in the wild card. No business at all. They should have settled this matter and been where the Phillies are 15 games ago. And unfortunately, I don't want to disagree with Big Dog, but we have an issue, I think, and a lot of the podcast announcers out there on the radio are trying to avoid the real truth, which is we need a coach out there that can be like Lasorda and tell a pitcher it's time for you to go, or get the right standings in there in order on position. I don't like Ohtani at first up. I think he and like somebody like Smith who's injured need to be cleanup. And I don't know what his mentality is. I don't know why he keeps putting Scott in every single game. I sit there and watch the game with an 83-year-old loyal Dodger fan, my father, and we both tremble when we see the first pitcher come out early in the fifth and want to know who he's going to replace him with. It's frustrating because we got a coach in there who takes somebody after 8 2/3 of an inning, almost having a no-hitter, and decides to pull him out to see if he can bring to life some of these other people in the bullpen. Let the pitcher finish his game. We need somebody in there who can be a coach. We need somebody in there who can be a coach. And I'm not going to go on and on and on, but the Dodgers should feel very lucky at the last minute that they didn't have to face the Mets. That's my opinion. I think they lucked out by going with the Reds, but like you say, Roger, all roads lead through the Padres. All roads lead through the Padres. And they got to face it's a tough road because they're either going to face the Milwaukee Brewers or they're going to face the Padres. And both of those teams can easily knock out my team, the Dodgers. So Dodgers have to stay conscious. They have to stay on task and just play like they want to play. No messing around. Let pitchers pitch 6, 7 innings. If they're doing really, really well, let them go. But when it's time to pull out a pitcher, pull out a pitcher. And if a pitcher from the bullpen says, I'm too afraid or I don't have what it takes, we don't call that pitcher in. We go to another one. Dodgers have plenty of pitching. They've spent a lot of money. They can bring in whoever they want and be satisfied with a championship.
Where my compatriot said he will not go on and on, I pointed my finger in the air saying, I will. The luckiest man in the world, God bless him, Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Yeah.
Dave.
All he has to do is sit on that little area he sits on and show what the latest watches he's got. Okay, he gets to take to his grave 12 division clinch championships, 2 World Series. I don't believe based on him. I'm sorry. I believe it's based on the team he put together, and you can see it in the frustration sometimes on some of his players' face. I'm not going to name names, but some of the players on TV, when they're having a really, really bad game, when they went 4-0 going into the 8th inning and they lose 5-4, just take a look at some of the players that are positional that have been through this over and over again. You'll get the gist of it. And I don't care what the podcast reporters say on the radio, it is the truth. He's a very, very lucky man. He won the lottery when he became the coach of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
There's no doubt about it. Look, there are managers that are good. And look, Dave Roberts communicates well with his players. Otherwise he wouldn't be there. And can he get them to do stuff? Yes. Look, he has a skill. But when it comes to managing his pitchers, he's not the first manager to be bad at it. And he will not be the last one. But he is the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Sorry, Lou Gehrig, but Dave Roberts, way to go. I want to shake your hand, Mr. Roberts. That way I can get some of that luck. If I can get just 1/10 of your luck, oh, man, the world is mine. Mine.
That's right.
But anyway, we'll go with that. Going over with the wild card, Detroit, Cleveland. Man, look, Cleveland came out of nowhere to do it. And Detroit was the better team throughout most of the year. And they just ran out of steam. I don't know if Detroit has enough to take on the Indians. This is the same division, folks. Indians had them. Detroit failed late, but the season's over. Game 1 is going to happen. 2 good teams. I think the Indians are superior because they're the hotter team right now between the two. Again, we're not going to do position by position. Your thoughts on that, young man?
I like that you're using the real name, the Indians. I think the Detroit Tigers have a very similar, I don't want to say tragic ending, but very similar to what the Dodgers are facing right now. They came off red hot. Everybody was talking about Detroit. The Tigers were going to do fantastic. There's no reason why they couldn't have 100+ games won this year, just like the Dodgers. And I don't know what happened to them, because you really can't chalk it up to pitching. It's just complete collapse. So hopefully their coach will be able to determine what's going on and get them to play a really hell of a series. Those teams in the American League are fighting to the death. Those are all fantastic, phenomenal teams with great records. Detroit, Indians, Boston, New York. And to be honest with you, after seeing the series with the Dodgers and the Seattle Mariners, Seattle is very, very intelligent. They did everything they could to just take their number 1 players and relax them, sit them on the bench. These games didn't count against the Dodgers. Same thing with Toronto. I mean, Toronto is there to play for real. And I don't think a lot of people think that they may be the big surprise going into the World Series. So let's see.
I figure the Indians, in my heart, I think Detroit's the better team because they did it most of the year. But again, you look at scoreboard, the Indians won when you had to. Detroit did not. I would lean to the Indians, but the reality is Detroit was the better team. But hey, scoreboard, who finished first? That was the Indians. That's all that matters. Looking at the other one, Ladies and gentlemen, does it get much better when it comes into the lore of baseball? Two teams that absolutely
Hate each other.
kumbaya. Oh no, I'm sorry, wrong teams. Hate each other.
Hate each other.
And folks, I'm going to do my best to catch every one of those games because you know what? For a first round, the Yankees are the superior team. But again, Boston won when they had to. I don't think they're as dangerous as the Padres. But again, look at the wild card teams, 2 American League East, and then you had Toronto winning the division outright in the tiebreaker. And now they won. So you got 3 teams of the American League East. That's crazy. I don't think you had any other division. Toronto actually had the National League Central. 3 teams qualified. Yeah, I'm wrong. The Phillies, the Cubs, and the Brewers. Oh, no, wait a minute. No. The Brewers, the Cubs. Wait, are the Reds in the East or the Central? I forget. Well, anyway, if I'm right or wrong, folks, it doesn't matter. But look, you got 3 teams in the American League East that are in it, and they're 3 good teams. Guys, the Yankees are doing everything. They're hot right now. They're winning. Just the Blue Jays outwon them. That's it. Doesn't matter. I figure the Yankees are going to take Boston. They're not going to. I would love for them to sweep them, but I don't think it's going to happen. Boston's too good of a team. So I do figure that the Yankees are the superior team. But again, the games still have to be played. It doesn't matter what we say. The games still have to be played. And I figure the Yankees are going to take Boston. The Indians are going to take Detroit. For me, LA is going to take the Reds and the Padres. This is the only one that I think will be swept. Padres will sweep the Cubs. I'm sorry, Cubbies. I respect you, but I don't respect you that much.
Yeah, that's true.
Mooch,
Very true.
what are you going to call?
I'm going to call, I'm hoping and I'm praying that the Dodgers do what they're supposed to do and use this as a learning tactic against the Reds to see exactly where they need to fix themselves going into the championship series. They need to do that. They got their hands full with the Phillies as far as that goes. And again, San Diego, they hold their own destiny. They really, really do. I mean, they the whole year they have played very, very well. So if they lose against the Cubs, well, then you've got Milwaukee, who hopefully will play the Dodgers, but that's going to be a really, really tough series for the Dodgers. Dodgers don't line up well with the Milwaukee Brewers, you know, and they've got their own destiny in their hands.
Yeah, you know, folks, if we kind of cheat, well, I don't want to say cheat, but because then that makes us the Brian Bronze of the world. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to let it go. I'm never going to let it go. I don't care for that guy. He's a coward. When he was supposed to be a man, he wasn't. But anyway, that's why I call the Brewers the cheaters, because of Ryan Braun, even though he doesn't play there anymore. But
Yes.
I don't know if anyone can line up against the Brewers right now. Straight up.
Tough team. Team.
They're a good team. And they have the bullpen, they have the starters, and they have a balance. Sometimes you don't have to be overwhelming in everything. You just have to be damn good in something. And the Brewers did it right this year. Congratulations to management. Yeah. They put a good team together, and they had the best record in all of baseball. Then you get the Phillies. The Phillies can play with the Brewers head on. But again, these are short series. We'll see. Remember, these teams are built for the seasons. The Dodgers are built for a short series, as are the Padres. The Reds, Cubs, I don't believe they are. Detroit, I don't even know if the Indians are built for a short series. The Mariners, yes, they are. As are the Blue Jays. So is Boston, so is the Yankees. And guys, what I mean is that they have enough guns, and don't quote me on that, but you know what I mean. They have enough starters for a short series where they can overwhelm you. And the Dodgers do, the Padres do, the Phillies, the Brewers, the Blue Jays, the Mariners, Boston, and the Yankees. So I know it's a little heavy. I am a bit biased. I fully admit it. But scoreboard, okay? Maybe we'll get a chance, and if I can get my brother to want to do a view of the championship or the division series, which will be next. Remember, it's 3 games. in the wild card, best of 3. Then we have the division series, which is best of 5. There goes my voice. And then you have the championship series, best of 7. Maybe we'll get a chance to do this. And now that my brother here knows how easy it is to set up, he doesn't have to be here. He could be at home to do this. He just needs a camera. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I didn't think we were going to go over the playoff picture, but for last minute, that wasn't bad, my brother.
No, that was very, very good. Very, very good.
And you guys can see the setup right now. He is right there, and I am to his left. And this is really cool. And if he had a good time, who knows? Maybe we'll be making this a regular thing. But
I had a fantastic time. Fantastic time.
Absolutely awesome. I'm trying to get his brothers because they all were varsity high school. That is cool. I was on the varsity team. That was about it. But I told you guys, there was about 150 to 160 guys in our high school, all 4 years. Mathematically, you had a chance to make a team.
You did. You really did. Yeah.
And I did. And I got into my freshman year. I think I got into about 8 games. My sophomore year, I got into 2. Junior year, I think I got into a few more, like 3 or 4. Senior year, my coach had a lot of sympathy for me. I think I got into like 4 or 5 games. I told you, I didn't get into many games. I was never a starter. I told you, I was the 9th man on our 8-man pitching staff.
Hey, that's good for an RBI once in a while. We don't care. That's fine. That's fine.
Like I said, I remember my sophomore year when Coach had the new cards, and they were multi-part cards, where they use that chemical so they could, just take one off, give it to the ump, take one off, give it to the opposing, and then you had it listed, the cardboard, and I was listed as a sub. I was shocked, and I said, Coach, says, you bust your behind during practice every day. You have earned your spot on this team. I was blown away. Because, guys, after my freshman year, we had a very big team. We had like 25 guys. But since we left the Liberty League, we went small school, small team, remember?
I remember that, yes.
I don't think we had 18 guys on our team.
No.
It was probably even less than that.
No.
And for me to be listed on the roster, wow, that was my day. And I was always listed. Did I get into very many games? Like I said, no. But it was great when I did, and it was fun because I got to play with some guys. But you see, secretly, which Peter never heard me say, I never had the talent to be a first stringer. So it would irk me when we would have freshmen join the team and they were lazy in practice.
Oh, yeah.
They had these God-given abilities to play, and they were lazy.
Yep.
So knowing that I ran the bases, did all that, I made their lives miserable. I think Peter might remember and say, hey, you know what? We didn't like Raj when we were practicing.
I think most of the freshmen that came onto the team just didn't know what they were going to be involved in. I really didn't. I just thought they were going to just think it was just like Little League baseball.
Yeah.
But Coach Cody was all about playing to your biggest potential. He would challenge you. He basically would challenge you. You had asked earlier who was our biggest, not arch enemy, but somebody who we really, really, really would play against. I think that out of all the teams that I think of, Faith Baptist. Yep. And if out on the internet and the internet world, Shake and Bake is still out there, it would be nice to have him come on the show.
Oh my!
I'd like to
Shake
see. I'd like to see Shake and Bake come on the show.
The pitcher, right?
That was the pitcher.
That kid was good.
He was very good. His dad was the coach of the team.
That's right.
His dad was the coach of the team, and he's the reason I did not do well with the Philly scout that came out to see me when we were going to go to Kenyan country. And the problem I had was Coach Cody, after the game, told me, I should have never told you that there were scouts at the game. I should have just kept it to myself and let you play baseball and let you pitch and let you hit the ball, because I was a nervous wreck. And shake and bake, I will admit, I went 0 for 5 on that guy. 0 for 5 on that game, which I never did before in my life. So if he's out there, I'd really like to have him on the show. I'd really like to show him on the show.
It's funny because, and I'm not belittling, I'm just saying it's funny because I remember shake and bake from my freshman year.
Yep.
So, no, could have been my freshman year because we were 1 year off. So it was from my sophomore year. But let me tell you, Faith Baptist, oh man, I know there was money in that school, but it didn't matter. Those kids were good.
They played baseball. They played baseball very well. Very well.
Yeah, they were tough. And they were a bigger school than us, but they were also like the small school.
They were.
But they were up for playing against us.
Yeah.
There was a tension between both teams. There wasn't hatred, none of that. And did we have a few moments where we did, when the pitches were up and in and the teams went out?
Yeah.
I think that was the only team that, what do baseball players do? Pushing and shoving. We didn't even do that.
Yeah.
But players came out of their dugout once against Faith Baptist.
Yeah.
That was it. But that's how hard they played us. And I thought we played them.
Yeah, they had a great coach. They had a great coach.
I didn't like the coach.
He was,
but you know what?
He was a very aggressive guy. Very aggressive. Just as aggressive as Coach Cody.
Yes, and I thought he was a good guy though.
Mm-hmm.
He never showed us up. He never, he wasn't a jerk. But his disposition, it just rubbed me the wrong way. But whenever I was scorekeeping, I would have to go over there and he would give me the lineup card. That was cool. I just didn't like him coaching. He's the opposite. But that was a good team. Funny you would say Faith Baptist because I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. And we played Providence. We played Oakley.
Pasadena Pauley.
Oakley was a super elite school up on the north side of the Hollywood Hills.
Yes.
They were, if you want to talk money, next to Chadwick, it was Oakley, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a team in Omani. I'm trying to remember the team, where my brother had hit 2 home runs. Oh, Rio Hondo Prep.
Oh, yeah.
That was another great team. That were very, very, very aggressive. They played very, very well. They had a great coach. And I remember Coach Cody almost getting thrown out of that game because it was like a playoff game. Every game that we played against Rio Hondo was a do or die type game,
We played Providence. They were in the Valley, San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
And they had a player that was with the Milwaukee Brewers. I think he played third base in the 80s and 90s. I forget his name right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the kid was a hulking, corn-fed, specimen of a human being.
Do you remember when we played Rolling Heights?
No.
Because we played Dave Hansen. We played Dave Hansen at one time.
I did not know that.
Dave Hansen was one of the guys we've played against.
Okay.
What was the other guy? Eric Bieniemy. We played somehow, I don't know how we did it, but we played Bishop Amat at Mount San Antonio College at their stadium. And we played against Eric Bieniemy, and he was like the end-all, the greatest player out there as far as that goes. He was a big player, too, that we got to play against.
In my freshman year, we were supposed to play against Brett Saberhagen, but I forget the full details. I got to ask my classmates on that, but I know we were set to play against him because the names stick out. They just do.
Yes.
Brett Saberhagen with the Royals.
Yes.
But I don't know if the timeline's correct, guys. I just remember Brett Saberhagen I think he pitched in the 85 World Series. Well, my freshman year was in 84. So I heard someone, I don't know if it's right, but it don't matter. No matter. Point is that we did play against some guys that did. And we have some other stories to talk about. We're going to reach out to our classmates. Maybe we can talk about that. I do know I have to get going. I have an engagement coming up. But, Peter, Wow. Thank you.
Thank you
This
very
was
much.
great. This was fun.
Thank you very much. It was great. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Folks, I need to hear from all of you. We need to have Peter back, please. So it would be great. But for right now, folks, this is Monday Night America. Today is year 18 that we kick off. We've been doing this since September of 2008, a long time. Sports Talk with the Guys will celebrate its anniversary on November 1st of this year. We started 18 years ago on November 1st on a Saturday. So how apropos that November 1st will fall on a Saturday for our 18th. Monday Night America began on the last Tuesday of September. That's why we're doing it this week. As you know, Jamie is on Tuesdays now, but Monday Night America is the spiritual child of that, where we've been on for 18 years. We want to thank you. Thank you, Peter, for joining me.
Thank you.
I'm Roger. Guys, we're going to see you guys on the other side. Oh, wait, here we go.
Nice.
Remember Independence Day, Will Smith?
That's right.